Good evening and welcome to TimesXP. Today we are taking a closer look at the political journey of Tulsi Gabbard, a former US Congresswoman from Hawaii who has become a figure of great interest not only in the United States but also in Russia. From challenging US foreign policies to sharply criticizing the actions of NATO, Gabbard has attracted global attention. But what has truly caught the eye of many is her growing popularity with Russian state media. So, in this video, we're going to explore her rise and the controversies surrounding her, specifically in relation to the ongoing Ukraine war. Tulsi Gabbard began her political career as a member of the US Democratic Party, known for her strong opposition to foreign military intervention and her background as a United States Army veteran who served in Iraq. Over time, however, her views on global issues has changed significantly and not always in the line with the mainstream political parties. Now, one of the controversial moments in Gabbard's career came back in 2017 when she visited Syria and met with the President Bashar al-Assad, a leader who has been accused of war crimes, including using chemical weapons against his own people. Gabbard later accused the US government of supporting terrorist group in Syria, a position that put her at odds with many in her own party. But what really brought her into the spotlight globally was her stance on Russia and the war in Ukraine. When Russia invaded Ukraine back in 2022, Gabbard immediately blamed the United States and NATO for provoking the war by ignoring Russia's security concerns. She argued that NATO's expansion towards Russian borders, including Ukraine's potential membership, was a direct threat to Russia's safety. Now, Gabbard didn't stop there. She also claimed that the US was secretly involved in biological research in Ukraine, suggesting that dangerous chemicals could be released from these labs. These claims closely mirrored the disinformation that Russian media has been spreading about Ukraine, accusing it of running biological weapon labs. Now, this alignment with Russian talking points caught the attention of Russia's state-run media. Russian channels praised Gabbard's views, calling her an ally of Russia. Now, one Russian TV host even referred to her as our girlfriend. Now, this is significant because the Russian media has been a major tool in spreading false narratives and disinformation specifically related to wars in Ukraine. But here's the question. Now, why does that matter? Well, Gabbard's views has made her a target of criticism back home in the United States from both Democrats and Republicans. Many critics argue that she is echoing Russian propaganda and could harm the US national security by undermining the country's stance against Russia. In fact, when President-elect Donald Trump suggested Gabbard could become the head of America's intelligence agencies, it raised serious questions. Now, these agencies are responsible for monitoring and responding to Russian disinformation campaign. So, having somebody who has supported Russian views in such a key position is troubling for many. Let's now look at this from Indian perspective. India has always had a complex relationship with Russia. Historically, India and Russia have been close allies, specifically during the Cold War, and that bond continues today. However, with the war in Ukraine, India has taken a neutral stance, calling for diplomacy and dialogue rather than choosing sides between the US and Russia. Now, Gabbard's views on Russia resonates with a certain section of Indian society, specifically those critical of Western intervention in global conflicts. Now, in India, where skepticism about US foreign policies is actually common, her criticism of the West and her calling for peaceful resolution may find many supporters really odd. However, Gabbard's claim, particularly about biochemical weapons in Ukraine, could raise concern in India as well. While some may sympathize with her views on avoiding the military conflict, others may be worried of the kind of disinformation that she has repeated, which have been debunked by experts around the globe. India, while maintaining strong ties with Russia, has also balanced its relationship with the West. The Russian invasion of Ukraine has brought global attention, and India has emphasized the need for diplomacy and peaceful negotiation. Now, Gabbard's extreme views might not align with India's approach, which has always focused on dialogue and it has always tried avoiding the military escalation. Now let's talk about Gabbard's evolution as a politician. Early in her career, she was known for challenging the US government's foreign policy, particularly military intervention in places like the Middle East. She became known for opposing US war abroad, specifically under President Obama's administration. Now, over time, she became increasingly critical of both major political parties, positioning herself as an outsider. Interestingly, her views have become a part of broader debate about the role of US intelligence agencies. During Donald Trump's presidency, there was a significant distrust of these agencies, particularly when their conclusions didn't align with Trump's own views on Russia. Gabbard's possible appointment to lead these agencies would be seen as a sign of Trump's continued challenges to the intelligence community and its approach to Russia. Now, to conclude, Tulsi Gabbard's political journey is both fascinating and controversial. She has moved from being a rising star in the Democratic Party to becoming a vocal critic of US foreign policies and an advocate for a more Russia-friendly approach. While her future in the US politics remains uncertain, her influence, specifically in the relationship to Russia, is undeniable. Now, what will happen next? Only time will tell. But for more such videos, do follow TimesXP.